I almost used my Jewish face laser to melt the ice in Texas, but I decided to save it for the hair on top of my lip, because that's really the only place a Jew needs to use a laser. How about Ted Cruz, huh? What about Ted Cruz?
You are delightful. You are delightful.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yes. Oh, Ted Cruz is now coming back from Cancun as he's been busted. Okay.
Yes.
What
he's trying to fly standby.
Yeah. Okay, and he thinks that's a defense for all the nasty things he said to us in California. We were going through the wildfires, right? He's saying, "You got me," right? Because we don't tend to do that. Like, we don't, taunt people in Texas. President Biden sent help immediately and generators from FEMA and whatever they need. It's just
I know, and Texas didn't even vote for Biden, which is so weird. How people president now, like, they help out states that didn't vote for them. That's odd.
Texas might be going blue over this. I don't know what you think, but seriously, if this doesn't show the failure of Republican policies, right? And deregulation, and we're just going to have our own grid and it's all going to be fine. And we're, the reason that's the reason they're not winterized, because there's no regulation. Nobody's requiring them to make sure that, stuff works in the winter. I mean, it's insane, right?
Yeah, and the global warming crisis is out of control. They didn't see it coming. I mean, Texas sometimes can prepare for not stuff like this, but definitely cold weather. It was 70 degrees the day before the storm hit. Like, no one saw this coming.
And I'm not down with making fun of them for, the snowflakes can't handle a couple inches of snow. It's like, yes, they're not prepared for it. I grew up in Buffalo. Like, that's going to, so I get it that, part of it is, no, they're not accustomed to this. And it's not even just the cold. It's they don't water. I mean, it's going to get really, really dire. And it's, it's a typical Trumpian move that Governor Abbott went on Fox News to blame left-wing policies that aren't even enacted there.
100%. I mean, the Green New Deal, which isn't a law and it's not legislation yet. But let's blame that. The other thing we have to remember is Ted Cruz voted against legislation for the East Coast, New England, during the hurricanes to help them get help during emergencies. He voted against that. Yeah. And now they need it for their state. And he's whining back, apparently in Spanish.
Yeah. I'm wearing my I Am Speaking T-shirt in honor of Kamala Harris, who I think the vice president is doing an amazing job. Here she is yesterday.
Well, first of all, let's talk about the 2.5 million women who are out of the workforce since COVID started. Let's talk about the fact that 10 million people in America are unemployed, that people are in food lines for hours in America. Let's talk about the fact that we, this week, are probably going to hit 500,000 people who have died from this virus. So this is a big problem. I mean, the issue of 2.5 million women out of the workforce is a national emergency as far as I'm concerned. So a national emergency, a big problem, requires a big solution.
I mean, and Dana, that's why it's all connected about getting teachers vaccinated, getting the schools open, getting kids back to school, because it's falling disproportionately on women, to have taking them out of the workforce. And it's also falling disproportionately on people of color. Right. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we just talked to Joyce Vance, and obviously we had Malcolm Nance, and thank God they didn't have to fight over a jingle, because I know there's a lot of, we thought we were going to have to take Let's Nance and make it Let's Vance, but it all worked out. Yeah. But, I mean, that's first world problems. I mean, just this, but these problems, I mean, they're not going to go away. Here's another story. Trump supporter charged with second-degree murder after gunning down woman during yard sign dispute. Like, these groups are still out there, and this is why there has to be prosecutions, there has to be justice, because these groups are still out there. And whether it's going to be lone wolf or more attack, what's the story you just sent me, Travis? They just get crazier. That QAnon was a big blow for them, seeing, Joe Biden on Air Force One, because they really thought Donald Trump was still secretly using it. I mean, and they still think in March somehow this is going to be resolved and Trump will be back in March. I'm like, oh my God, right? And anyway,
I'm trying to watch what I say because I want to use, I want to use terms that are not appropriate because like people legitimately have mental health issues, but this is a mental health issue in this country.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I keep saying that. Like I read some of this stuff and I'm like, oh my God, these poor people. Right? Like, it's just so delusional. So Representative Anthony Brown talking about one of the problems is military and police that were involved in this whole white nationalist, all these crazy town movements.
Yes, I've had a conversation with Secretary Austin prior to his confirmation. I've had conversations with almost all of the service chiefs. And in every one of those conversations, we talked about the rise of white supremacy and nationalism in the ranks. And while it may be a sliver, it's a very dangerous element.
Yeah, I'll say. And he went on to say,
it's dangerous not only for our military, for unit cohesion and readiness and morale, but as we saw on January 6th, during that insurrection at the Capitol, where 1 in 5 of the people who are arrested are either current or former members of the military, that is a dangerous sliver that is growing in the military. We've known this for a while. The red flags have been there. I've introduced a number of measures in Congress to try to get after the problem. We've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. And one last one.
The DOD is now accessing the FBI database. That's helpful. There needs to be better and much more thorough screening when we recruit and enlist people into the military, and that's true for officers as well during the commissioning process. And there has to be annual or regular monitoring and re-engaging of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines on these issues if we're going to really get after the problem.
Yeah. And all the other thing we were saying, Dana, to Joyce Vance, why Trump has got to be held accountable somehow, somewhere, because there he is yesterday, ghoul that he is, lighting the match again on this whole election fraud stuff, in the guise of like he's there to talk about Rush Limbaugh, right? I mean, okay.
They knew this was going to happen. We expected it. The fact that they did not disqualify him was just giving him permission to continue the crap he's done for the last 5 years and to bolster it, and say, okay, this is acceptable.
They still can and should. 14th Amendment is another thing they still should do beyond
absolutely,
national, state, local prosecution.
Well, if your girlfriend gets rid of the filibuster, they can pass legislation to discontinue from running anyway.
Kirsten Sinema does not even know who I am. I've never met her. She's not my girlfriend.
She's your coffee.
The Daily Threat
briefings.
Girl.
Not your girlfriend. Yes. She's just some woman who brought you coffee. I see how it is. Only when
she knows exactly. She gets briefings on you, Stephanie.
That's not what I did not.
Probably on a no-fly list.
That was not my dream to end up in her security file. It was to end up.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
This is not how you plan this.
No.
All right.
Like I can see her every week, but just not within 100 yards. Everything's fine.
It's probably better that way with me. Okay. But here's okay. I can't. Travis did sound bites, but people will kill me if I play Trump's voice because I decided to pour hot coffee in my hooch instead of playing his voice this morning. But
it's fine. It'll wake that thing up. I hope it's caffeinated. Let's wake that thing up.
Yes.
Listen, lady. Just
hey, it's okay when you do it, but when I chime in,
listen, lady.
This is fun.
This is my point. I mean, besides how awful is this, that of course he uses Rush Limbaugh's death to make it about him. And it's this literally was shut up about that cake. I'm like, oh my God, shut up about the cake. Oh my God, the election fraud again. I can't, but it's so dangerous because this is what his packs of crazies are waiting to hear, right? This is what he said. Rush Limbaugh thought we won, and so do I, by the way. I think we won substantially. You would have had riots. You would have had riots all over the place if that happened to a Democrat. We don't have the same support at certain levels of the Republican system. Oh, I'm sorry. Your riots weren't big enough? Okay. I can't. And there's never been riots when a Democrat has lost. I'm like, oh, my God. I can't, right? With him just lighting the match again with these lies.
I mean, how many times did we hear when we voted for Hillary, oh, stop crying, just move on with the election. She lost, let it go, stop your crying. And why do you have to find a safe space? And now, how many months later, these people will not shut up?
Because you always hurts the ones you love. I think I am going to torture Dana just because she's being mean to me. Haha, listen to Trump's voice.
I woke up in a bad mood,
listen
and somehow torturing you has brought me joy.
Listen to Trump's voice.
He was a unique guy, and he was...
Oh, not that one. Not that one, the next one. There we go.
I literally have a vomit noise.
So do I, by the way. I think we won substantially. And Rush thought we won, and he thought it was over at 10 o'clock, 10:30, it was over. And a lot of other people feel that way too, but Rush felt that way strongly.
Oh my
and
God.
Oh my God.
Many people do. Many professionals do.
Oh my God, professionals?
And I don't think that could have happened to a Democrat. You would have had riots going all over the place if that happened to a Democrat. We don't have the same support at certain levels of the Republican system, but we have great people as Republicans.
Oh.
Okay, now I poured hot tea in my snooch.
It actually makes me laugh, I think, at this point. Like, before it scared me.
Doesn't he?
I'm like, he's going to start war. And now I'm like, there's nothing you can do, at least for 4 years. Like, he's ramping up his base, but his base is going to be crazy without him.
Isn't it like Man Behind the Curtain now? Pay no attention to the man behind. He sounds even subdued. You're just a sad little retiree from Florida, old man. Just shut up.
What are Joe's dogs' names?
Major and Champ.
Champ?
I want Major and Champ to just go and pull the curtain away from Trump so we can see him in his diaper on the toilet, like they did with the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, you're right, Dana.
All the.
Wait, now I actually want to listen to some more because he does sound kind of sad and pathetic and subdued. Doesn't
he does sound way pathetic.
Like I've just been moping down in Mar-a-Lago. No wonder Melania's at the spa all the time. No, really? I want to hear about that again. About how they didn't count them at 10 o'clock and blah 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 blah. Oh my God!
By the way, these are all done by phone. You know that he's sitting there in a caftan with no makeup. His hair's not done.
He
calling up people.
He put on
the
Melania's Mrs. Roper muumuu by accident. Wait, okay.
With a turby twist.
Okay.
Did he say to you what role he would like to see you play next?
Well, we didn't talk too much about that. I didn't want to talk about that too much either, because I was disappointed by voter tabulation. I think it's disgraceful what happened. We were like a third world country on election night with the closing down of the centers and all of the things that happened late in the evening, and he was furious at it. And many people are furious. You don't know how angry this country is.
Oh my God! I did not think, Travis, you were correct, and I was wrong. I didn't think, but you're right. He doesn't have any of the Mr. Spacely that bellowy voice anymore. He's just I'm a sad little man. I'm a sad little retiree. I'm just gonna keep saying the same things. Is it time for the early bird? Oh, it's like a third world country. We want
to go to lawsuits. Huh? With the lawsuits bearing down on him, it's probably that weight on his chest. He can't even get a deep breath in. You know how many lawsuits he's got right now between New York and Gina E. Carroll and everything else?
Let's just enjoy how sad and pathetic he is now, and how it's just one long national knock-knock joke. Like, ooh, knock-knock, who's there? Ooh, FBI. Oh, is it Georgia DA? Ooh, who is it? Oh, no, don't tell them I'm in here. Ooh, I'm sad.
Sad. So sad.
Sad. So sad. Okay, now this is fun. He really is. Oh my God, Travis, this is fun. He sounds it's subdued. Enjoyable. He sounds so subdued. He said apparently he did say he missed being president. I miss being president.
Oh, come on. I thought my life was so much better before this. My life used to be so good. My life was so much better before that. You think I like being president? And now he's like, I just want to go back to that Oval Office.
I'm sad. Okay, now it's fun.
He doesn't have Trump Plaza to go to anymore.
No, boom, boom went Trump Plaza.
Boom, it fell down.
Oh, I was listening to the news talk about it.
Oh my God,
like News 10 or something, and they're like, we used to be the Trump Tower. Clearly not the largest, not the tallest building in Atlantic City.
Yeah,
all this other stuff. Like it was just shot after shot. Like there's buildings so much taller than this one. But you know,
I'm gonna guess he wants that, and I'm gonna go out on a limb say he's never gonna get an erection again after he saw that. Right? Boom, boom went the.
Beautiful thing.
Wah wah. Okay.
Cheering, the noisemakers, people paid money to be near the park just to honk their horns and just celebrate. I mean, what a beautiful thing.
You are correct, Sean. That is the official sound of Donald Trump going forward. Okay.
Bye.